Taking a look at some of the different Glock options. Of course, these are all green, but I wanted to show the different sizes here. So we start off, well, I guess we'll start off in the middle. This is the Glock 22. It's basically a Glock 17 size. It's the standard size Glock, full size Glock. Going down from that, this one's a Glock 23. This would be the same size as a Glock 19 if it was 9mm. Then we have the subcompact size. This one's a Glock 27. This would be a Glock 26 if it was the 9mm. Going up one size from the center, we got a Glock 35. This would be a Glock 34 if it was a 9mm. And then going up to the longest one, we've got a Glock 24. And this would be a Glock 17L if it was a 9mm. So these are the different size Glocks. There's the standard size, got the one size smaller, then you've got the subcompact, you've got one size bigger, and then one size bigger still. You'll notice some of the differences. The smallest Glock has no rail, no light rail, where all the other Glocks have a light rail. The smallest Glock has a different type of magazine. Obviously it's the shortest magazine. However, all the other Glock magazines will still fit into a Glock, the small frame Glock. They'll stick out to some extent, but they're all going to fit in there. Still shootable. Smallest size Glock, obviously most compact. This is actually an add-on. Typically it's just a flat bottom plate like this, because it's a little easier to grip, and it adds 1 in 40 caliber or 2 in 9mm to the capacity of the magazine. I like to add that new bottom plate. Glock 23, this one has a Crimson Trace laser grip on it. When you apply pressure to the back here by just giving it a shooting grip, laser comes out the side here out of an LED laser diode and shoots right down the side of the gun. Every once in a while, if you bring your finger up off the trigger like most people are trained to do, it can get in the way of that laser, but for the most part, real easy laser to manipulate. Otherwise, this one is again the compact size Glock. It's got a light rail. Just shows some of the different light options. That's the Glock light. It's actually a Glock light laser combo. This is a Surefire with a DG switch, a remote switch. So I'm able to get the light with the remote switch on this setup, and then the laser from the laser grip, and that gives me both light and laser with this setup. The setup is pretty nice having the Crimson Trace on there. It's a little tricky when you try to do a rack the slide like a lot of people are taught with a big grip. Works a little better if you use the this type of grip. Going up from the Glock 23, we've got the standard size Glock again, the Glock 22, and the 9mm, this would be the Glock 17. Fairly common. A lot of people have this as a duty weapon. Again, this is what it would look like with the Glock light laser, and then again with the Surefire. Because it's a little bit longer, it looks just a bit different than it does on a 23. You still have the light extend out further than the muzzle on the standard size. We go up to this Glock 35, which is a bit longer than the Glock 22, so a little bit longer barrel. You notice a big cutout here. That's because all the springs and internals and stuff are the same, so they have to reduce weight up here, and they cut that gap out of there to reduce weight. So to show what it would look like with the Glock light first, I really prefer this combination. Keeps the muzzle out in front of the light so it doesn't get so dirty. With the Glock light, because there's no remote switch, you basically have your adjustment down here, which I'm able to do with my middle finger, but I'm sure it's meant to be done with your thumb down here, with your non-shooting hand. Anyhow, you set it to what adjustment you want. It goes from all off, which is nice when it's in a range bag, and then that way if the switches are accidentally tapped, the battery doesn't wear out. In this position you have just the light. and this is a fading one, so I don't know how effective it's going to be on the video, but as I'm holding down the switch now, it's starting to fade in. Wherever I let go is where it's going to stop, so it's pretty effective for inside a house or something. I have a very dim light right now. I can turn it off or I can bring it up to the full light. Flipping it over to both light and laser, fairly obvious. You've got the light and the laser showing, and then I can flip it to just laser. So that's the options of this Glock light laser. It removes the same way that a Glock takes down, with the pressure on both sides, and then this is what the 35 would look like with Surefire with the remote switch. This is actually one of the other styles that I prefer the most. Again, it keeps the muzzle out in front of the light, so the light doesn't get so dirty. I'm really a fan of this light, again, because, well, Surefire is very well made, but that remote switch gives me the ability to determine when I want the light on or off without having to fiddle with my trigger finger or have that extra hand on the gun. So, pretty good combo in my opinion. And then last up would be this Glock 24, which is again about an inch longer than the 35, quite a bit longer than the 22. Makes the 27 look kind of funny. So what it looks like with a light. Now it's definitely way out in front. Again, you see the cutout there. And then with the Surefire, again, way out in front there. Real good combo. A little too long for practical carry, but what are you going to do? I don't actually make a 22 in, or a 24 in green, so I had to sort of make this one up, and because of that I don't have the extended slide stop, which I don't mind because I don't like the extended slide stop. So that's the various options of the Glock and the various barrel lengths.